Judaism, um, the the instant change in society is done through many years. It's done gradually. It's not violent. It's kind of like you change people's minds. Actually, what they do is they basically try to brainwash you because they don't even tell you what it is. They don't want to tell you what they want to do with society because they know um, that the society apparently won't accept their views, and that's true. They won't accept their views. So what they do is they convince society by thinking that, well, what you do, what your actions, what you think is wrong, and that they, they 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 can do that through the media. I mean, they get people into the media. It's been going on for many years. So by now, if you watch the media, any type of discussion that goes against that socialist Fabianism is either considered many things. You're sexist, you're racist, you're a whole bunch of things if you go against that. And many people who actually go against those views that the socialists have in our society, um, a lot of people are getting angry because whether they're really racist or not, I think they believe that their freedom of speech and their freedom of mentality is being attacked constantly. So those people are angry. Um, and the English people see Trump, and it's not that Trump is racist, and not that Trump is a sexist. It's just that he, I think, he cuts through all that. Political correctness. And that's what socialist Fabianism has done is brought social political correctness. Because believe me, if socialist Fabianism had what they wanted, if they get their utopian society, it's not going to be this politically correct society. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be more like Cuba or the old Soviet Union, or it'll be like what Europe is now. I guess it'd be more like Europe is now. I wouldn't be so much as Cuba or the old Soviet Union, but like Europe is now, where in Europe actually right now, if you bring up anything that they're so far into this socialist world mentality that this whole thing with bringing the immigrants last year from the Middle East, and from other parts. The other people had jumped on that bandwagon to get into Europe. Okay, so these people that have gone into Europe have actually, and there's reports you can look at it. They've actually, not all of them, but there's been problems in Europe. Europe's liberal society, liberal socialist society, it doesn't. It's not. It's not. They're not being able to actually deal with these people. Why? Because these people are conservative, but not conservative like me or you or most Americans. They're conservative in the sense that they are religious fundamentalists. They believe very strongly in their religion. They believe very strongly in their culture, and their culture does not agree with anything from European society. It's almost like Europe decided to bring in the guy from the street. Like it's like they decided that because of their views, they'll invite anybody in the street, even people they know that hate their guts. They've let in the street, and because those people are in there, because of their views, because of the socialist liberal views, um, these people, these Muslims who've come in here, some of the men, there's a culture in the Middle East where there's a rape culture. I'll be honest, there's a rape culture, and that rape culture, um, they've actually, these men that have gone over there have seen it's okay to attack Western women. Why is it okay? Because they see them as infidels. They see them as that they want it, that they're easy, they can do what they want because these people are not human beings, basically, the females, the European females. So there's been rape cases. You can look it up. There's actually been rape cases in Europe. And there's been other cases too where Muslim men would not be they protest if they're getting checked by female nurses, and there's been fights with cops and everything, and Muslim neighborhoods and everything, and all that different stuff. It's also questions whether their welfare state, the socialist welfare state over there, can actually deal with these people. So the question now isn't if European socialism will work or not. It's not the question. The question now, I mean, because some people would say, well, it does work because you have um, Europe has this wonderful, welfare system and everything. Yeah, but that's a whole different discussion. Let's just put it that way. It's a whole different discussion as to why that works over there and why that probably wouldn't work here in the United States. But the system that they developed, it's being destroyed. It's being destroyed by um, the socialist liberalism that exists over in Europe. It's destroying itself. How is it destroying itself? Because all this political correctness that exists over here, that the left has to push over here. Well, over there in Europe, it's to the point where if anybody says anything when it comes to race or sex or anything over there in that country, it's completely banned. If you're labeled a racist in those countries, it's like the worst thing. It really is the worst thing, or sexist or anything else. Okay, um, so let's say it's not even a racial thing. You're not even saying anything racist. You're just saying, well, these people, these men, or these Middle Eastern men, have have it have raped these women. Just saying that, then you're in trouble because you say Middle Eastern, or you're saying, oh, these people are Arab or Syrian or whatever race they fall into. Just by mentioning that. So the news reports will say men during New Year's rape these women. They won't even mention where they're from. So it's a misleading news. It's completely misleading. So yeah, Europe's having trouble now. Europe doesn't know how to deal with it. Why don't have to don't have to deal with it? Because they basically have their liberal system is making it, and their political correctness is making it so they can't even stop rapists from hurting their society. And there's even some of the female victims who I guess believe all this socialist liberal crap, political correct crap. Some of the women are actually saying that, oh, it's our fault. They blame themselves. Let's not forget that actually the government in those countries, um, after this stuff happened, not only did they try to cover it up, like as if it didn't happen, but they tried when it came out on the news, when they when it was already known to the public, they tried to say that when it came out that these men were Muslim, and that there were a lot of them were actually part of the refugees that had come in that year. The government, I'm thinking of the German government, a lot of the authorities had said, well, it's the females' fault. They blame the females. Now, a lot of you might be listening to this and thinking, well, where am I getting all this? It's just, I'm making this crap up or something. Well, actually, no. Go look it up. There's actually it's all over the place. Look up the Europe rapes from last year. Look up rapes in Europe and look up last year. There's tons of information on this. There's people who are or will give you that information. You can find that information. There's people who are against it. There's even people who will go against what I'm saying. So you can even look up that. Just compare, and see what I'm saying, and you do the investigation. You figure it out. I'm not here. This program isn't a news program per se. It's just, this is my own. These are my views. This is the Roberto Ramon Show, and I'm just telling you my views. So if you want to find out, go ahead and look it up. That's fine. So what's Trump doing? Trump, going back to Trump. What's Trump doing? Trump's basically, he's cutting through that political correctness that has just basically infested